Howdy, folks. Boys and I are out in their bushcraft camp today, and we wanted to give this little unit a test run. So this is a little twig stove. This is about the cheapest twig stove money can buy, because Dad is a cheapskate. Yes. I don't like to spend a ton of money on this kind of stuff when I don't have to, but if it's junk, it's junk. So this one I got online for I think about $16. This is the LIXADA stove, and we are going to give it a test drive today and try it out. So here we go. Big stick. Okay, so let's unwrap this thing and have a look. So it is pretty tiny. It's smaller than some of the other stoves out there for sure. But for 16 bucks, you can hardly argue. So the first thing I noticed about this stove is that it is covered in this blue plastic to save it from getting scratched, because you sure wouldn't want your camp stove to get scratched. Right? Kind of silly. So the first thing we got to do is get all this plastic off of here. No, I didn't. And I got to say, it is a huge pain in the butt to get all this plastic off of here. You want to do some? Yeah. All right, here you go. You do that one. Jasper, how about you?
Meh.
Meh. Yeah, I hear you.
I can do the one that you're doing.
That one's done. You want to work on that end? Start on that end. Okay, we'll get all this stuff off of here, and then we'll fire it up. Okay, here we go. You know what? We're leaving that part. Okay.
It'll just burn off. That was annoying.
That was annoying. You're absolutely right about that. Okay. So
we left a little part of it.
A whole lot of plastic needs to come off of that thing before you have it. There's some, we're going to burn it off. And you can that's just happening. So, there are two plates that come with it to build it. This is the bottom fire plate where the air goes through the holes and hopefully keeps your fire going. And then there is this top plate where you can feed sticks into. I believe that's the same size hole as one of those little alcohol burners as well. So you can do this as a alcohol stove if you want to do it as an alcohol stove. So there are some slots in the LIXADA thing here, some slots, and then we can. You know what that thing is for?
Yeah.
What's that thing for?
Like, it's for when this
goes,
it's to put like that.
It's to lock it in?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see if you're right. Just wait. Let me get this. And we'll do that, and then I think you're right. That's the pin. You got her? You can sit on my leg. Is your butt cold? It has chilled off quite a bit here. Aha! Oh, you had it. That was it. Nailed it. Okay, so there you go. There is your little stove. Booyah.
Pain in the butt.
Pain in the butt. Plastic, but otherwise not too bad. Goes together fairly easy as far as that stuff's concerned. So, what do you think? Let's put some sticks in it and light a fire?
Sure.
Okay.
Get some of the king's
So when we are collecting, no, I don't know, but that's all wet. When we are collecting tiny sticks off of trees, how do we know whether they're the right ones or not, Jasper?
If they snap.
If they snap, then they're dry. So let's go collect some firewood. Let's go. Okay, we got some wood. We got a little bit of birch bark. So let's start with that. Let's start with that birch bark. Okay. Yeah, there's lots. Jasper got a whole sheet of nice birch bark, so that's perfect. So we'll put that down at the bottom. And then we've got our little sticks. And I think these are probably still twice as long as they need to be for this little stove. So, okay. It's cold out today, and our hands are getting pretty darn cold when they're not. It's windy too. Just try and light that. Maybe I'm trying to be too fancy about it. Look at that. That worked way better. Okay, there we go.
Oh yeah. Pretty good.
Get our stove going. Get it started up here like this. Now eventually, we'll just get it going first. Now, there is a little bit of plastic on this one still, so we'll be extra careful.
Good.
Oh,
That's good.
oh, warms our hands anyway. Look at that.
What?
Look at that.
No, out.
Going pretty good.
Out, dog, out.
Isn't it? Okay.
Pretty big fire.
Pretty big fire for a little camp stove, hey? Not too bad. So we'll let us get some coals going here. And then maybe what we'll do is we'll try and boil some water, and we'll see. That'll be the test to see how fast this tiny little stove can boil some water, because
we're putting a lot of hot coals in.
The twigs burn pretty fast, don't they? Because they're just little. Okay, so I think we've got some substantial coals going in the bottom there. It really is a very small firebox, and so the wood you put in, it burns fairly quickly, and you have to really have small firewood. So, I think we're ready. So, Jasper, if you want to hand me the end of that pot so I don't have to lean over and burn my beard off. Got her? Attaboy. Good job. Okay. So, we're going to put that on and start our timer. And let's see how long it takes to get. We put 1 liter of water in this GSI. Yeah, it's about a liter.
Yeah, it's still a liter because he only spilled like.
So we'll see how long that takes. The fire doesn't want to keep going very well, does it?
There you go.
It's hard to keep it going. It doesn't. I don't know if the airflow in the bottom just isn't enough. I wonder if drilling some holes along the sides would help. Not sure. Or if maybe our firewood is just a little bit damp. Okay, so the battery, because of how cold it is out, on the other camera died. So we're finishing this off on our phone, but that's okay. It's going to be just fine, isn't it? Okay, so let's see. Where are we at?
Now I can move it though.
We are at
8 minutes.
8 minutes. It's been a while. So it's taking a good long while. Let's have a look. We are
Drop it.
steaming, but not rolling boil yet. So we'll continue on with our countdown. You'll just have to take our word for how long it took without having the timer in the window. But we promise we're very honest people. So this is how long it's going to take.
No.
Wait, I need to get closer.
Okay, so we are 25 minutes, almost 26 minutes into this, and we still don't have boiling water. So it's cold out. It's like -2 out. But honestly, we have been feeding this thing wood constantly for the last, well, half an hour, trying to keep this thing going. We do have, you know, hot water for sure, you know, steamy hot water. There are bubbles on the bottom. It wants to boil, right? I mean, it wants to be cocoa, but we're not there yet. So I think at this point, I would say a couple of things. One, I think the box on this stove is what?
Too small.
Too small. I think you're right.
And you have to do it in summer.
And you should be doing it in summer, Jasper says, because it's too cold. But yeah, I think the box on this thing is just so small that you have to just keep feeding it and 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 feeding it, feeding it, tiny, 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 tiny little pieces. You know, I know some other people have certainly had water boil on these things. I'm sure it would boil. It's a little windy today, so it's pulling some of that heat away for sure. But I don't know. I'm not sure that I can recommend the LIXADA Twig stove. I think a slightly larger stove is probably better to go. So if you're looking to save yourself the money and get the teeny tiny one, might not be the best option. We're going to go inside because this guy is freezing now. And this guy is freezing
my fingers
now.
are gonna fall off.
His fingers are going to fall off. So, thanks very much. I hope this was useful.
Buy a bigger one. It's
We suffered for you. Don't suffer yourselves. Get yourself a bigger twig stove.
Unless you're a professional bushcraft dude. but
Unless you're a
we're-
professional bushcraft dude and you want to sit out here and get this thing going, up to you. Okay, thanks folks.